Hold still, Luna, the seamstress muttered, pins clamped between her lips as she adjusted the bodice of the wedding gown. Luna Pierce stared at her reflection in the ornate mirror, trying to recognize the woman staring back. The dress was objectively beautiful, ivory satin with delicate lace appliques that sparkled under the boutique lights. Every detail had been chosen to showcase her status as the daughter of Alpha Pierce, bride-to-be of Cameron Blackwell, heir to the neighbouring Stone Creek pack, yet her eyes looked hollow, empty. "You look stunning," her best friend Mia whispered, squeezing her hand. A true alpha female, Luna forced a smile that didn't reach her eyes. "Thanks." Inside her chest, her wolf paced restlessly, scratching at her ribcage as if trying to break free. The animal had been increasingly agitated as the wedding approached, making Luna's skin feel too tight, too confining. The memory surfaced unbidden. Sitting in her father's study 4 years ago, 16 and confused as he explained her future with clinical detachment. "The alliance with Stone Creek will double our territory and end generations of border disputes," Alpha Pierce had said, sliding the formal agreement across his desk. "Cameron is a strong wolf. He'll make a suitable mate. But what about finding my true mate?" Luna had asked, her voice small. Her father's laugh had been sharp. "True mates are a luxury, Luna, not a birthright. Pack survival comes first, always." "Earth to Luna!" Mia waved her hand in front of Luna's face. "Where did you go?" Luna blinked away the memory. "Sorry, just wedding jitters." "It's more than that." Mia lowered her voice as the seamstress stepped away. "Your wolf is fighting this. Everyone can see it." "My wolf doesn't get a vote," Luna whispered. "The packs need this union." Mia's eyes softened with sympathy. "And what do you need?" The question hung between them, unanswered. "There you are." Her father's voice boomed through the doorway of her bedroom later that evening. "Why aren't you at the rehearsal dinner?" Luna turned from the window where she'd been watching the sunset. "I needed a moment alone." Alpha Pierce frowned, his broad shoulders filling the doorframe. "The Blackwells are waiting. Cameron asked about you twice." "I know my duty, father." The words tasted bitter on her tongue. "Good." He softened slightly. "This is larger than any of us, Luna. The pack needs this union to survive." Luna nodded, unable to speak past the lump in her throat. After he left, she returned to the window. The moon was rising nearly full. It would reach completion on her wedding night. Her wolf howled internally, the sound echoing through her bones with such force that Luna gripped the windowsill to stay upright. "Something's coming," her wolf seemed to say. "Someone." Luna pressed her forehead against the cool glass, watching her breath fog the pain. In less than 24 hours, she would be Luna Blackwell, mate to a man her wolf rejected and her heart felt nothing for. She closed her eyes as tears threatened to fall. The gilded cage of her life was closing, the door about to lock forever. Outside, the wind shifted, carrying a scent she'd never encountered before, wild and powerful, like pine and smoke and something primal that made her wolf suddenly go still. Luna's eyes snapped open, golden now instead of brown as she scanned the tree line. For the briefest moment, she thought she saw eyes watching back. Luna tossed in her bed, sheets tangled around her legs like restraints. The digital clock on her nightstand glowed 2:17 a.m., less than 10 hours until she'd walked down the aisle to a man her wolf refused to accept. Sleep remained stubbornly out of reach. Her skin felt electrified, her wolf pacing restlessly beneath the surface. The window was cracked open, allowing the cool night breeze to filter through the gauzy curtains, carrying with it the familiar sense of pine and earth. Until suddenly, it wasn't familiar at all. Luna sat bolt upright, her nostrils flaring. That scent again, wild, dangerous, and undeniably male. It called to something primal inside her, making her wolf surge forward so forcefully she gasped, before she could process what was happening. A shadow moved outside her second-story window. The curtains parted, and a man slipped silently into her room. Luna should have screamed, should have shifted, should have called for the guards that patrolled the Alpha's residence. Instead, she remained frozen as moonlight illuminated his face. His eyes met hers, and the world stopped, golden. His eyes were molten gold in the darkness, glowing with power and something that looked remarkably like recognition. He was tall, powerfully built, with untamed dark hair and the confident stance of an alpha. "You," she whispered, her wolf practically purring beneath her skin. "Mate," her wolf confirmed with absolute certainty. "Ours. I've been looking for you." His voice was deep, rough velvet that sent shivers across her skin. "For months." Luna clutched the sheet to her chest. "Who are you?" "Ryder," he said, keeping his distance though his eyes devoured her. "Ryder Blackwood." "Blackwood?" she breathed. "Like a distant relation to your fiancé's pack." His mouth twisted on the word fiancé. "The branch they don't acknowledge." Luna's heart hammered against her ribs. "You've been watching me." It wasn't a question. She'd felt eyes on her for weeks. At pack gatherings during her runs in the forest, she'd dismissed it as wedding anxiety. "I had to be sure." Ryder took a step closer and Luna's wolf strained toward him. "Had to know if what I was feeling was real." "And is it?" Luna whispered, though she already knew the answer burning in her bones. "You're my true mate, Luna Pierce." His words fell like stones in still water rippling through her. "I felt it the first time I caught your scent at the pack borders 3 months ago." Luna shook her head, panic rising. No, that's not possible. I'm getting married tomorrow." "To the wrong wolf?" His voice hardened. "To someone your wolf rejects. You don't understand the politics." "I understand everything," Ryder cut her off. "I understand your father sold you for territory. I understand you've been feeling empty, restless, incomplete." His eyes softened. "Tell me I'm wrong." Luna couldn't. Every word rang with truth. "You can't belong to him," Ryder said, moving closer still. "You belong with me." "I don't even know you," she protested weakly. "Your wolf knows me." He extended his hand, palm up. "See for yourself." Luna hesitated, then slowly reached out. The moment their fingers touched, a jolt of electricity shot up her arm and exploded through her body. The mate bond flared to life, white-hot and undeniable, connecting them in a way that transcended physical touch. Visions flooded her mind, running together under moonlight, bodies entwined, a future she'd never dared imagine. Her wolf howled in triumph and recognition. Luna jerked back, breathing hard, her eyes wide. This can't be happening. But Ryder's eyes had shifted fully gold now, his own wolf pushing forward in response to the bond. "It already has," he said, voice deeper, rougher. "The only question now is what you're going to do about it." The weight of destiny pressed against Luna's chest as she stared at the man who had just upended her entire world the night before her wedding. "Come with me." Ryder's voice was low, urgent, his hands still outstretched between them. "Tonight." Luna backed away, her heart racing. "You can't be serious. My father, the pack—" "Will force you to mate with someone your wolf rejects," Ryder finished, his golden eyes never leaving hers. "You know what happens to wolves in rejected bonds. They wither. The human side survives. But the wolf—" "I know," Luna whispered, wrapping her arms around herself. She'd seen it happen. Wolves who chose duty over true mates, their eyes gradually losing their shine, the ability to shift, becoming painful, then impossible. "Your wedding dress is hanging right there," Ryder nodded toward the white garment bag. "Is that really what you want? To walk toward your cage while your wolf screams for freedom?" Luna closed her eyes, feeling tears threatening. When she opened them, she found Ryder watching her with an expression that wasn't demanding but understanding. "I'm not forcing you," he said quietly, "but I am asking you to choose yourself. Choose us." Luna glanced at the door, thinking of her father sleeping down the hall, of Cameron and his family, of the packs waiting to celebrate tomorrow. Then she looked back at Ryder, and something clicked into place. "How long do I have to pack?" His smile was transformative. 3 minutes. They slipped from her window into the darkness, Luna with just a small backpack containing essentials. The night air was cool against her skin as they darted between shadow and moonlight, her heart pounding with fear and exhilaration. "The perimeter guards change shifts at 3 a.m., Luna whispered as they crouched behind a storage shed. "There's a 5-minute gap in the southwest corner." Ryder gave her an appreciative look. You know your pack's security well. I've spent my life here, she replied, a pang of guilt stabbing through her chest. I'm betraying everyone I love. Ryder's warm hand found hers. You're saving yourself from a lifetime of misery. There's a difference. When the patrol passed, they sprinted for the tree line, Luna feeling the weight of her decision with each step, away from the only home she'd ever known. Once in the forest, they ran in human form, moving swiftly through territory Luna knew by heart. There's a stream ahead, she panted. If we cross it, it'll mask our scent. Smart, Ryder nodded, staying close to her side. They'll assume we headed east toward my old territory, not north. Luna's mind raced as they ran. What was she doing? Abandoning her pack, her family, her responsibilities? For a man she'd just met. Yet her wolf had never felt more certain, more alive. Each time doubt crept in, her wolf pushed it away with fierce determination. He is ours. We are his. After hours of tense travel, crossing streams and doubling back to confuse any trackers, the forest began to change. The trees grew older, more massive, the undergrowth wilder. We're in neutral territory now, Ryder said, slowing his pace. The old forest. No pack has claimed it for generations. Because of the legends? Luna asked, remembering stories of ancient magic and territorial spirits. Ryder smiled mysteriously. The legends serve their purpose. They climbed higher into the mountains until Ryder led her to what appeared to be a solid rock face covered in vines. He pushed the greenery aside to reveal a narrow crevice, just wide enough for them to slip through. Beyond was a breathtaking sight, a hidden valley sheltered on all sides by steep cliffs, with a small lake fed by a waterfall at its center. Several rustic cabins were nestled among the trees, smoke curling from one chimney. Welcome to my territory, Ryder said softly. It's not much, but it's safe. So true mates are real, Luna murmured, cradling a mug of tea in her hands. They sat before the fire in Ryder's cabin, the first light of dawn creeping through the windows. My father always dismissed it as legend. Most arranged mating packs do, Ryder said, his eyes reflecting the flames. It undermines their power structure. But the mate bond is the oldest magic our kind possesses. How does it work? Why you? Why now? Ryder considered her questions. No one knows exactly how the moon chooses, but the bond forms when both wolves are ready, when they need each other. As for why now? His expression darkened. Perhaps because you were about to be lost to me forever. Luna looked down at her hands. My father will come looking for me. Yes. He won't stop. I know. She met his gaze. What happens now? Ryder moved closer, the space between them charged with electricity. Now you decide if what you feel is worth fighting for. His hand came up to brush her cheek, and the contact sent the bond between them flaring again. This time Luna didn't pull away. Instead, she leaned into his touch, her eyes fluttering closed, as his thumb traced her lower lip. I barely know you, she whispered. Your wolf knows me, he replied, his breath warm against her skin. And I know you, Luna Pierce. I've watched you run in the moonlight, seen your kindness to the pack pups, witnessed your strength when everyone else demanded your submission. When his lips finally met hers, the world seemed to tilt on its axis. The mate bond surged between them, no longer just a pull, but a vibrant, living connection. Luna felt her wolf rise to the surface, merging with her human side in perfect harmony for the first time in her life, as she wound her arms around his neck. Their kiss deepened, passion flaring hot and urgent between them. When they finally broke apart, both were breathing hard, their eyes glowing with their wolf's golden light. Tell me, Luna said, resting her forehead against his, how an alpha becomes an outcast. Pain flickered across Ryder's features. By challenging the old ways, by refusing to bow to corrupt leadership. His jaw tightened. By discovering that both our packs have been lying about the territory wars for generations. Luna pulled back slightly. What do you mean? The Blackwell Alpha, Cameron's father, and your father have been working together for decades, staging conflicts to keep both packs afraid and compliant. His eyes held hers steadily. Your wedding isn't about peace, Luna. It's about consolidating their power. Luna felt the blood drain from her face as pieces fell into place. Secret meetings, inconsistent stories about territory disputes, her father's insistence on this particular match. "How do you know this?" she whispered. "Because I was meant to be Cameron's pack second," Ryder said grimly, "until I found evidence of their conspiracy and confronted them. That's when I became inconvenient and dangerous. And that's when they exiled you," Luna finished, understanding dawning with painful clarity. Ryder nodded. "I've spent the last 2 years building something different here, a pack based on choice, not coercion. We're small, but growing." Luna looked around the cabin with new eyes, seeing not just a hideout, but the beginning of something revolutionary. Something that challenged everything she'd been raised to believe. "You're not just hiding from them," she realized. "You're building an alternative." Ryder's smile was both fierce and tender as he took her hand. "And now, perhaps, I've found my alpha female. If she chooses to stay." Alpha Pierce's roar echoed through the manor, shaking picture frames and sending birds scattering from nearby trees. "What do you mean she's gone?" Mia stood trembling before him, clutching Luna's wedding veil. "Her room is empty, Alpha. The window was open and—" she hesitated. "There was a scent. A male wolf I didn't recognize." Cameron Blackwell paced the room like a caged animal, his handsome features twisted with rage. "She was taken. That's the only explanation." "Or she left willingly," Mia suggested quietly, immediately regretting her words when Cameron's eyes flashed dangerously. "My mate would never disgrace her pack that way," he snarled. Alpha Pierce's face had gone dangerously still. "This scent. Describe it." When Mia did, the blood drained from his face. "Impossible," he whispered, then louder, "Assemble the enforcers." Cameron slammed his fist into the wall, cracking the plaster. "I want every available wolf searching. She is mine." Miles away, Luna sat beside Ryder on a ridge overlooking the valley, anxiety gnawing at her despite the peaceful setting. "By now they've discovered I'm gone," she said, hugging her knees to her chest. Ryder nodded, his expression grim. "And they'll assume I took you by force." "Why would my father recognize your scent?" Luna asked suddenly. "You said you were exiled 2 years ago," Ryder's jaw tightened. "Because we've encountered each other since then, when I discovered what they were planning." He reached into his jacket and pulled out a folded document, handing it to Luna. She opened it with trembling fingers. A land deed with both her father's and Cameron's father's signatures, dated 3 months ago. "Mining rights?" she questioned, scanning the document. "There's a rare mineral deposit that spans both territories," Ryder explained. "Worth millions. Your wedding wasn't about peace. It was about creating a legal entity that could exploit the resources without either alpha losing face with their packs." Luna felt sick. The border disputes? Staged, to justify the need for the alliance and control any wolves who might question it. She looked up at him, devastation in her eyes. "How did you get this?" "I have allies who still believe in the old ways," Ryder said, "including your father's former beta, who was conveniently reassigned after questioning the alliance." Luna remembered Richard, her father's loyal second for 15 years, suddenly sent to oversee a distant outpost last winter. At the time, it had seemed strange, but not alarming. "There's more," Ryder said gently, "about true mates." Meanwhile, search parties fanned out across packlands. In the Pierce Pack's main hall, maps were spread across tables as Alpha Pierce directed enforcers to likely hiding spots. "Sir," an older enforcer approached cautiously, "if it's who we suspect, if Ryder has her, shouldn't we consider the possibility of the mate bond?" Cameron growled, but Alpha Pierce silenced him with a look. "The mate bond is irrelevant," he said coldly. "The alliance will proceed as planned." "But sir, forcing a mated wolf to—" Enough! Alpha Pierce slammed his palm down. My daughter's wolf will submit to my authority as is proper. The old ways are luxuries we cannot afford. The enforcer bowed his head, but not before exchanging a meaningful glance with several others. My father knows about true mates, Luna whispered, her world tilting sideways. Ryder nodded grimly. Not only knows, but has systematically suppressed the knowledge. There's a reason young wolves in your pack are taught that the mate bond is just legend. He handed her a journal. This belonged to your grandfather. Note the pages about his own mate bond. And what happened after he became alpha. Luna flipped through the journal, her heart breaking as she read her grandfather's increasingly desperate entries. How he'd met his true mate after becoming alpha, but had already been politically mated. How the elders had forced him to reject his true mate for pack stability. How he'd watched his true mate wither away, taking part of his soul with her. The final entry read, I have agreed to hide the truth from my son. He will never know what was stolen from him, the chance to find his true match. This is my penance. May he forgive me someday. Luna closed the journal, tears streaming down her face. He knew. My father knew what he was denying me. Ryder wrapped an arm around her shoulders. Power corrupts, Luna. Even the best of us. Is that why you were exiled? Because you discovered all this? Ryder's expression darkened. I was Cameron's childhood friend, his chosen beta. We trained together, patrolled together. Then I found these documents while helping organize the pack archives. His voice grew distant. When I confronted Alpha Blackwell about suppressing mate bonds and the staged territory disputes, he gave me a choice. Comply or leave. You chose integrity, Luna said softly. I chose to build something better, he corrected. A pack where wolves can follow their true nature. Luna stared at the valley below, where several wolves in human form were going about their daily tasks. Not outcasts, she realized, but pioneers. A young wolf came racing up the path towards them, his expression urgent. Alpha Ryder, he called. Scouts report hunters approaching from the east. At least 20 men with silver weapons. Luna felt the blood drain from her face. Hunters? Here? Ryder was already on his feet, eyes scanning the horizon. Only one group would know to look here. My father, Luna whispered, the final betrayal clicking into place. He'd rather see me captured by hunters than mated to you. We need to move, Ryder said, helping her up. Now. As they hurried down the path, Luna's mind raced. Every foundation of her life had been built on lies, every duty she'd accepted, every sacrifice she'd prepared to make, all to serve corruption disguised as tradition. The mate bond pulsed between them, stronger now with each passing hour. No longer just a physical pull, but something deeper, a shared purpose emerging from shared truth. Luna might have left her pack as a runaway bride, but she was returning to face them as something far more dangerous. A wolf who knew the truth. The clearing at Howling Rock, traditional meeting ground for packs in dispute, bristled with tension as wolves from both the Pierce and Blackwell packs formed a loose circle. Luna and Ryder stood at the centre, their small band of loyal followers behind them, outnumbered 3-1. Alpha Pierce stepped forward, his face a stone mask, betraying no emotion. To his right stood Cameron Blackwell, eyes burning with rage and humiliation. Luna, her father's voice carried across the clearing, you've had your adventure. Now it's time to honor your commitment. Beside her, Ryder remained steady, his presence an anchor through their strengthening bond. 3 days on the run had brought them here. Hunters at their backs, betrayal driving them forward, and truth their only weapon. Adventure? Luna's laugh held no humor. Is that what you call discovering your lies, father? Murmurs rippled through the gathered wolves. Many looked confused, evidence of how little they knew about their alpha's true dealings. Careful, daughter, Alpha Pierce warned. You're speaking from emotion, not reason. Cameron stepped forward, hand extended. Luna, whatever he's told you is manipulation. Come back where you belong. Where I belong, Luna met his gaze steadily. I never belonged with you, Cameron. My wolf has always known it. This is about more than your wolf's preferences, Alpha Pierce growled. This is about pack survival. Is it? Luna's voice rang clear as she held up the documents Ryder had shown her. Or is it about mineral rights and power? Tell them, Father. Tell your pack what this wedding is really about. The silence that followed was deafening. You've been misled, Alpha Pierce addressed the crowd, his confidence unwavering. My daughter has been influenced by a known traitor, an exile, trying to undermine the prosperity we've built. An older wolf stepped forward, Richard, her father's former beta, who had quietly joined Ryder's group during their flight. The only traitor here is one who denies wolves, their true mates, for profit. Gasps erupted as Richard held up his own copy of the mining contract. Your alphas have manufactured conflicts for years to control you through fear while they plan to exploit our sacred lands. Cameron lunged forward but was restrained by his father. You have no right, he snarled at Ryder. She was promised to me. I am not property to be promised. Luna's voice cut through the chaos. Her wolf surged forward, lending her strength. I am a wolf with the right to choose my own path. Alpha Pierce's facade finally cracked, his voice dropping to a dangerous growl. You would throw away generations of tradition for a mate bond, a fleeting connection. Fleeting? Luna stepped toward her father. Like grandfather's bond was fleeting, the one you forced him to deny? Her father's face went pale as Luna held up the journal for all to see. Tell them what happens to wolves denied their true mates, she challenged. Tell them what you are willing to condemn me to. The crowd stirred uneasily as understanding dawned on many faces. Some of the older wolves nodded grimly, recognizing truth long suppressed. Luna Pierce, her father's voice hardened, making one final attempt to assert control. As your alpha, I command you to return to your pack and fulfill your duty. Luna felt the alpha command wash over her, the compulsion to obey that had governed her entire life. For a moment she wavered, years of conditioning battling against her newfound clarity. Then she felt Ryder's presence through their bond, not demanding but supporting. Her wolf surged forward, golden eyes meeting her father's. No, she said simply. The single word echoed across the clearing like a thunderclap. Luna turned to address both packs, her voice growing stronger with each word. For generations, we've been told that power comes from control. That duty means denying our true nature. That tradition matters more than truth. She moved to the center of the circle, standing alone. But what is a pack, if not family? What is an alpha, if not a protector of our most sacred connections? What is tradition if it destroys the very bonds that make us wolves? Luna gestured to the wolves around her, Pierce and Blackwell alike. How many of you have felt the call of a mate bond but ignored it because you were told it was just legend? How many have watched your wolves grow quieter, weaker, as you followed paths chosen for you instead of by you? Several wolves lowered their eyes, recognition painful on their faces. The true strength of a pack isn't in its territory or its alliances, Luna continued. It's in the bonds between its members. Bonds of choice, not coercion. She turned to her father, compassion replacing anger. You taught me that duty to the pack comes first, but you never taught me that the pack's duty is to protect each wolf's right to follow their nature. Alpha Pierce's face showed conflict for the first time, a flicker of the father she'd known beneath the alpha's mask. I choose my true mate, Luna declared, moving to stand beside Ryder. I choose a pack built on honesty, not manipulation. I choose to honor the wolf inside me rather than cage her. She took Ryder's hand, feeling the mate bond pulse between them. And I invite any wolf who wants the same freedom to join us. For a long moment, the clearing was utterly silent. Then, quietly at first, wolves began to move. A young couple from the Pierce pack, 3 warriors from Blackwell's, then more. Not a mass exodus, but enough. wolves stepping away from their alphas to stand with Luna and Ryder. Cameron's rage exploded as he shifted without warning, lunging toward Ryder with teeth bared. Luna moved instinctively, her body flowing into her wolf form in the smoothest, most complete transformation she'd ever experienced. Her golden wolf met Cameron's attack, not with aggression but with confident defense, her larger-than-average form surprising everyone. Beside her, Ryder shifted too, his massive black wolf moving in perfect synchronization with hers. Together, they forced Cameron back, not fighting to harm, but to establish boundaries. When he finally submitted, snapping teeth giving way to lowered head, the shift in power was palpable. Luna shifted back to human form, her transformation effortless in a way it had never been before. The mate bond had strengthened her wolf, merging human and animal in perfect harmony. "This ends now," she said quietly. "No more lies. No more using wolves as pawns." Alpha Pierce stared at his daughter, truly seeing her perhaps for the first time, the powerful wolf she'd become when freed from constraints. "What would you have us do?" he finally asked, his voice holding a note of weariness. "Create a council," Luna suggested, "with representatives from all 3 packs, transparency about resources, and recognition of the mate bond as sacred law." The older wolves nodded approval. Even some still loyal to the traditional alphas seemed relieved at the prospect of change. As the sun began to set over Howling Rock, 3 distinct packs remained where there had been 2. Boundaries redrawn, but dialogue beginning. Not perfect resolution, but the start of transformation. Later, as Luna and Ryder stood on the ridge overlooking their growing territory, she felt her wolf settle contentedly within her. No longer fighting, no longer restless. "I never knew it could feel like this," she admitted, leaning into his embrace. "My wolf and I, we're finally one." Ryder pressed his lips to her forehead. "That's what the true mate bond does. Makes us whole by connecting us to another." Luna turned in his arms, her heart full as she gazed at the man her wolf had recognized when her human heart was still blind. "I was meant to be a bride today," she whispered, "just not the one they planned." As their lips met, Luna knew with absolute certainty that being stolen by her true mate had not been an ending, but the truest beginning. Luna stood on the balcony of their cabin, the autumn sunset painting the valley in amber and gold. 3 months had transformed their small refuge into a thriving community, new cabins dotting the landscape, gardens taking root, and the sound of children's laughter drifting on the breeze. "Penny, for your thoughts?" Ryder's arm slipped around her waist, his chest warm against her back as he nestled his chin on her shoulder. Luna smiled, leaning into his embrace, just marveling at how much has changed. How indeed? What had begun as a desperate escape had blossomed into something revolutionary. The treaty signing earlier that day had made it official. 3 packs now coexisted in relative harmony, with a council of elected representatives instead of absolute alpha rule. "Your father actually smiled today," Ryder noted, surprise still evident in his voice, "when you presented the shared hunting territory proposal." "He's trying," Luna acknowledged softly. The relationship with her father remained complicated, but healing had begun. His willingness to serve on the council without demanding leadership had surprised everyone, including himself. Below in the common area, wolves from all 3 packs shared the evening meal, former enemies becoming cautious allies, then genuine friends. The painful divisions hadn't disappeared overnight, but they were mending, one conversation at a time. "Did you see Cameron with Richard's daughter?" Luna asked, nodding toward a young couple sitting slightly apart from the others. "I never would have predicted that," Ryder chuckled. "True mates appear when we're ready for them." His wolf finally had the chance to choose. The greatest change had been the revival of the mate bond tradition. Already 5 couples had discovered their true connections, once freed from arranged marriages and political constraints. "Come with me," Ryder whispered, taking her hand. "I have something to show you." He led her through the forest to a small clearing she hadn't visited before. There, in the centre, stood a simple arch woven with autumn vines and white flowers. "What is this?" Luna breathed, though her heart already knew. Ryder's eyes shone golden in the fading light as he took her hands. "We never had our ceremony. I thought perhaps, under the full moon tonight." Luna's eyes filled with tears as she glanced upward, seeing the moon beginning to rise. Not tears of loss or regret, but of overwhelming joy. "I was supposed to be a bride once," she whispered, moving into his arms, "in a ceremony planned by others for a bond I didn't choose. And now?" Ryder asked softly, his hands framing her face. "Now I choose you," Luna replied, "as my wolf chose you from the first moment. Not because of duty or alliance, but because you're the other half of my soul." Their kiss deepened as the moonlight bathed them, their wolves rising to the surface in shared harmony. When they finally broke apart, both sets of eyes glowed golden. "Was it worth it?" Ryder asked, vulnerability momentarily visible beneath his strength. "Leaving everything you knew?" Luna smiled, placing her palm against his heart, where she could feel their mate bond pulsing strong and true. "I didn't leave everything," she corrected gently. "I found everything. I found myself. I found you." As the moon climbed higher, their wolves answered the ancient call, shifting seamlessly to run together under the stars, no longer stolen, no longer separated, but finally, completely united.